I'll work out the kinks while we wait. do 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 do. Receiving content, your audience will see it momentarily. Well, let's see if Restream is properly kicking it around. It is. Restream is not reporting it in. Let's see if Restream is reporting it now. Restream is not reporting it in now. It is reporting it in now. Testing, audio 1, 2.
How's my audio coming in?
Your audio is coming in just fine, Maxi boy.
Cool.
Yep. Okay. And it looks like we are live on the YouTubes. It looks like we are now live on the Twitches.
Cool.
Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh, is that a fact?
that is a fact. That is a fact indeed.
Oh, what's this? I've walked in on facts.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, it's more like Sneaky had a bit of a stroke, but
Anyway.
It's nothing new.
Let's go.
All right. And everything seems to be fully online, so that's the cue for the intro. Welcome to Fanfiction Tuesday, the Electric Boogaloo, hosted by SneakyDevil, where canon's made up or ignored or fucking something and nothing else matters. So let's go. All right, so I wanted to start off today with talking about fanfiction itself. So there's this author named Viror Knox, and he writes worm fanfiction. And he's known for a couple of his stories. However, he's known for the most boring story ever, The Spirit of Nature, and The Stopwatch, one of his most enjoyed stories. And the difference between these two stories is that he spends weeks on end writing very long chapters for Spirit of Nature, and he literally shit posts for Stopwatch. Like, it's maybe a couple thousand words at best, plot holes abound, ignoring everything, just whatever looks and sounds funny.
Mm-hmm.
Characters, OOC galore, and whatnot. And can you guess which one was more enjoyed? Despite my earlier... Yeah,
Right?
Stopwatch. Yeah. And this pissed off the author. Because I don't know why.
No, I can understand that. If there's something that you put zero effort into...
And it gets... Yeah. That part's understandable. But the problem here is the author complains. I'm gonna read a note from him soon. The author complains that he doesn't understand why people don't like Spirit of Nature in his...
I was just saying, why don't we just start with a note, and then we'll work from there.
But I have to explain Spirit of Nature.
Okay.
So Spirit of Nature is what I hate the most. Taking characters from a fandom and putting them into your OC content.
Okay.
Just so you can get exposure on your OC content.
So
this guy invented a completely original world with countries and government systems and towns, cities, people, medieval fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
Reminiscent of technological levels of Wolf and Spice.
Oh, okay.
If you ever...
Nope, I haven't seen that one. It's on the list. Haven't seen it yet.
You really should. It's nice. It's a sweet little thing. But so basically Taylor shows up. And this is the thing. Is at the start, it was like, well, okay, this isn't too bad. This is interesting, I suppose. But it quickly turns into the problem that I always have with it, is that it gets boring as fuck. Because you're sitting here wanting to read, X fanfiction, and it's only got like one character from X fanfiction in it, and it's mostly, like 99% of the story is just the original OC content. And while that's, perfectly fine on its own, I'm here for X fanfiction.
Right.
And that was the problem. That was part of the problem. This is the part where it gets very boring. Is the chapters were like 15k in length, but nothing happened. The first like 5 chapters were her staying in the starting village and just talking to people.
Mm.
And then there was like 2 chapters to get to the next town, and nothing happened in those 2 chapters. It's just 2 chapters of her walking. And then she gets to the next town, and some exposition happens. Oh, by the way, they all think she's a goddess because she controls insects, so they think she's like some sort of spirit of nature.
Okay, I mean, not unreasonable.
Again,
but
when you first start reading it, you're like, okay, this is different, this is interesting, okay, where are we going with this? And then he just doesn't go anywhere with it.
yeah, well, I was gonna say, I mean, that's just that's a problem with writers like there have been.
I know, but that's what I'm saying though is his other stories that aren't, because he's written other ones that aren't completely original content. They're received with mostly this is okay, and that's all stuff taking place in the Wormverse.
Right.
So it's not like he's like writing poorly, because the grammar wasn't bad. The pacing was, could have been better, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrendous. It was just nothing was happening. And when he introduced things, he didn't really go anywhere with them. Like, he's introducing all this whole god system, and everyone's like, and the first 2 places are like, oh, you're so amazing, oh. But then, she gets to the capital, and they're like, oh, just another bitch. Whatevs. Even though, our capital is dedicated to the worship of this person, we're not gonna worship her.
Yeah, I got it.
But, so that goes on, and then like 100k words in, she finally gets into her first fight. And she loses. Badly. And everyone was like, why? The story of Worm, and Taylor specifically, is a story about a person who triggers with an unimaginably useless power. The ability to control insects. What the fuck are you going to do against people that can shoot laser beams from their ass, Like, there's people in this world that literally can turn into any form of energy. There's people in this world that literally create miniature suns and can throw them. What are you going to do with fucking insects? This whole story of Worm is literally her kicking the shit out of all the... I mean, obviously not just be like, oh, lol, I'm winning. She loses her arm and
I understand. The point is,
the point is, she wins. Against all odds, she comes up with strategies and tactics and plays to the strength of the insects that she has access to and wins. And her first fight, after such an enormous length of time in this story, and she just gets reamed in the ass.
Okay.
And so people were just like... And it wasn't even against someone that was strong.
Right, so they're just like, why am I here? This is boring. I was hoping you would do something interesting, but this
You're
isn't...
like you're building up. Oh, she's a goddess in this world. And you're building it up, and you're building it up, and you're building it up, and then you don't go anywhere with it. And you keep talking about how she's gathering all these different insects, and they're so great and amazing, and she's going to investigate this person, and she's prepared. And then she gets her ass reamed by some low-level chump.
Right, I get it.
And not like, and I mean reamed, like unconscious, had to be dragged back to what constitutes a hospital reamed.
We get the point.
Yeah.
So
People didn't like it. Yeah. So anyway, the author's note. Here comes the post I've been thinking of a few chapters ago. You see, Stopwatch has been an experiment for me. When I was writing Spirit of Nature and realized that every chapter there was one less person that read it or just didn't like it, I became rather downtrodden. Oh, right. That's another thing about Spirit of Nature. Like, 200k words in, suddenly he just started introducing all the other worm characters because he was like, oh shit, people aren't liking this story, I must bring in more worm characters to...
Alright,
and
anyway.
that backfired. You see, Spirit of Nature is something I put effort into. I have worked hard to make it work, revising it multiple times before I was satisfied, though I still get complaints constantly they have to iron out. Due to that, writing is slow. Weeks went by before I wrote a chapter, edited it with two of my friends, and then posted it. So I thought, maybe it was the AU setting. Maybe it was the update rate? Maybe people were just unhappy that Taylor wasn't stopping her way to the place like she owned it. Because, well, a chapter where the group got their ass kicked, I had 40 less people hit that like button than normal. Then I wrote this. I would write and publish. No effort at all. I found myself stuck with an idea of what to do. I would simply read the thread, get inspired, add more things, continue, rinse, repeat. When someone complained strongly about paraplegia, I decided to extend it. I didn't plan anything, I just wrote. And look at this, it's arguably my worst work. Not counting with Fire Came Disparity, as much as I like the premise, I didn't manage to go anywhere with it. After a while, I didn't even care about the typos, the plot holes, and inconsistent out of characters. That some people blamed on the concussion, others blamed on shard shenanigans. Word of God is, it was me. Within 5 days, this surpassed all discussion on Spirit of Nature, surpassed the number of readers, and made me realize just how far I've gone with the simple premise of Taylor-centric alt-power Brockton Bay. Once more, like with Fire Came Disparity, it feels like my effort is wasted on Spirit of Nature, as if the amount of work I put in doesn't actually matter while I write, only how quickly I can write it. I just don't feel like my efforts I don't like the feeling that my efforts are wasted. On that note, I've decided to end Stopwatch.
Alright, well, my response to that is, there are plenty of authors.
So literally, the guy is sitting here, and this is probably the most tame response he's had. I've seen other threads where he's responded, and he whines. He whines and throws a hissy fit that people didn't like his totally OC Spirit of Nature over trash shit posts.
I was going to say, my response to that is, let's look at stuff like Masked Up. Let's look at stuff like Inquisitor Caro.
Yeah.
Just to name two off the top of my head. Those update very, very infrequently.
Still have a massive following.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they still have massive followings. You know, or like there are plenty of
now,
stories out there.
Admittedly, now this is on forums. He is posting these to the Space Battles forum, and that does change some things. However, I am following probably 30 plus worm fanfics on forums right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll contribute to discussion when I feel like I need to contribute, but all the ones I'm reading have only gone up in readership as they've updated, and some of them update absurdly rarely, like maybe once every 3 months, and maybe only like a 3K word chapter every those couple months. But I see that like bar and that read count bar rising with every chapter. And that's because they're fucking interesting and fun to read.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit of Nature was, like he said and acknowledged, Spirit of Nature was interesting at the start. And then he didn't do anything with it. And people were like, why am I sitting here reading this? Nothing is happening.
Right.
And so they left. And then his response to that is I would bring up his Spirit of Nature thread, but that thread's been locked and shut down and re-updated, and he threw a massive fucking hissy fit, complaining like, why aren't people reading this more? I put so much effort into it. And he got into massive arguments with several people, including me.
Right.
It's just like people like he for some reason he expects people to like something that he's done because of the amount of effort he's put into it. That's what I got from him. Is you should like this because of the amount of effort I put into it. I tried so hard. Well, yeah, you can try all you want. That doesn't make it good. But anyway, that was my rant.
No, like I really like, just because you put effort into it doesn't mean people are going to like it.
And then, to spite everyone, he ends several of his most enjoyable to read, because they're, funny and silly and whatnot, most enjoyable to read fanfics because he doesn't like that people like them.
Right. And so he's decided...
How dare you enjoy this? Well, I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah,
Who the fuck are you to tell us what we cannot enjoy? So, don't be this author, folks. Don't be this author.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, moving on to the official shit. Back to Ruby, because that's what I've been finding recently. What the fuck is this shit? Oh, yes. CSGO memes. How the fuck do I buy things? Yes, indeed. Okay. So, you guys all got the link?
Yeah.
Max, we're gonna need you for this one.
Wait, why am I needed for this one?
Because you might enjoy this. And by might, I mean probably not, but you're gonna want to be here for it.
In fact, you're probably not going to enjoy this, but it's one of the ones you're qualified to comment on, so you're going to comment, damn it.
Artorias Nim of Team Gwyn. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Why is it? Oh, that's why it's down to crossovers. He's claiming OC.
Yeah.
Oh, you...
Yeah.
Shit, this had better be exceptionally well written.
A faunus leaned against the wall. Sorry, I forgot it.
You said, hold up!
The first immortal. Artorias Nim of Team Gwyn is a third-year student at Shade Academy. Life's had its up and downs, sure, but he's on track for a good career as a huntsman. But when the secrets of Remnant begin to surface at the 40th Vital Festival, he gets dragged down with them. OC, Team Ruby, Team Juniper. And I'm just going to give you guys just click on that image for a close-up. If that image just happens to remind you of anyone.
Nah.
P5, I'm gonna shoot you. Why wouldn't you let me save it this instance?
So this is a Faunus Artorias.
Oh, see. Listen here, author. We wouldn't be nearly this annoyed.
That's a Ciarn. That is a... that's Smo. Yeah, that's Smo taking up the 4 slot. And that's obviously Sparky taking up the first slot. Everyone.
No, actually, no. I think that is Golf. We got Ornstein, we got Kieran. I'm pretty sure that's Golf. That doesn't look like Smo's outline to me.
I guess we'll find out, you know?
Hang on.
Yeah, so it looks like Artorias is a wolf faunus. Wow!
Alright.
So OC!
You know what? Listen, I'll just to spare your throat, I'll start reading this one.
No, I got it.
Alright.
A faunus leaned against the wall of a coffee shop. Two wolfish ears stuck out from the top of the young man's silver hair. He attracted one or two glances, whether because of his faunus heritage or because he was a huntsman, he wasn't sure. Or a huntsman in training, rather. Could civilians even tell the difference?
Well, yes, they can, because one is a teenager, who's whiny and angsty. The other spends all their time drinking, Crow.
I didn't realize Crow was that sexually active.
I mean, apparently. Of course, if you listen to the fandom, apparently it's Ty that's the one who does that, but anyway.
I was hoping to get to a save point, but I need to pay attention to this. So fuck you, Persona 5, for not having a convenient save point at this spot.
Does it not have a pause?
It's in the middle of talking. So I just have to put the PS4 into rest mode for now.
Absent-mindedly, he touched the hilt of his greatsword sheathed.
I was willing to give the author the benefit of the doubt. Really, I was.
And the handle of his dagger. Oh, I wonder if they've played Dark Souls 3 at all.
But he doesn't use a dagger.
I
know. That's why I said I wonder if they've played Dark Souls 3 at all.
Like, look, I was willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, but really,
Yet another habit his leader had drilled into him. Always know where your weapons are. He was joined by a shorter, older woman with dark hair. Her name was Morgan Nim, his mother. But the only resemblance between the two was their blue eyes. A fresh cup of coffee was in her hands. You sure you don't want a cup? She asked. Artorias Nim shrugged. Just another little point of mention. You've already mentioned that Morgan Nim is his mother, so you don't need to mention his last name.
Well, first off, you've already given us. Well, no, I mean you haven't given us his full name, but
yeah. You like if you're like, oh, Mrs. Jehovah Schmidt looked at her son, Alexander Jehovah Schmidt. Do you want some coffee? You don't need to say the last name.
Like,
if you've already introduced a parental relationship and said the last name of the parent, one could assume, barring teenage angst, the last name is the same.
I was gonna say, unless you want to go specifically out of your way to point out, to drop hints about like adoption or dead family members, or divorces, something like that. You said her name is Morgan Nim. You don't need to tell us that he's Artorias Nim, because logically his last name is going to be Artorias Nim.
Kicking off the wall, and they set off, walking aimlessly down the road. Oh, so edgy.
First off, really? He's leaning against the wall and then he kicks off. First of all, nobody actually kicks off a wall unless they are in a pool
of edge.
Swimming.
Of edge.
I mean, yes, but I'm talking about actual human beings, but...
Gill'd have my head for drinking coffee so late. Gil. Well. Okay. Or at all, really. Although, the occasional cup when like, I'm assuming that Gildroy is, Ornstein. I'm assuming. I'm making an assumption.
What do you say? We don't know yet. We'll find out.
Well, I can already confirm it. Slight spoiler. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic.
Fuck off, mate.
He's gone far enough to give original names to everyone, but Artorias. Like,
Oh he's gone far enough to give everyone like a second half of a name.
oh god.
All right, come on, just power
Just
through, Sneaky.
get further down. You'll see what I mean.
Oh no. Or at all, really, although the occasional cup wouldn't hurt. Coffee, Gilderoy had told them, was a crutch. A reliance on it could get you killed. What if you were ambushed in your sleep and had no time for a cup to wake you up? That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Alternatively, you could
man,
make it so vile you don't get used to it.
he said. But it had been easy enough to give it up, just to keep Gil happy. So he abided by the rule and had barely touched coffee ever since. Morgan smiled and shrugged. It's decaf, Artie. Don't worry, it won't keep me up. Why would you ever? See, that's another question of mine. Why would you ever drink decaf coffee? Like, it already tastes like shit. Now you're just not getting any benefits from it.
Some people actually just like the taste of coffee.
Some people are fucking weird.
I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, Max, there are also people who think it's perfectly acceptable to murder gay people for being gay. That doesn't mean they're right.
It's got a point.
I never said they were. Why did we immediately jump to the worst
Because,
possible
Max,
example?
Because that is
hyperbole.
clearly the same level.
It's hyperbole
People who like
for
coffee
comedic
murdering
effect.
gays.
Well, when you say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous, Sneaky.
I hate you both. Uh,
And don't get me started on tea. That fucking leaf water.
oh, don't get started. You might summon combat crazy.
I'm sure that he just perked his head up at that moment and said, "Someone's dissing tea."
Someone just shit talked my favorite drink.
Fucking leaf
Time to
water.
get angry.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that could be an issue. Artorias smiled. We have a lot to catch up on, and a half a year to talk about it. I'll be at Beacon for most of that, but yeah, fair call, he said. I'm sorry I haven't really kept in touch. She waved it off. It's not a problem. As long as I knew you were alive and well, that was enough for me.
but if he hasn't kept in contact, how do you know he's alive?
She lifted the paper cup to her lips and drank. But I'm certainly get as much as I can from you tonight. How about your team? I'm partnered with our leader, Gilderoy Weinstein.
The sound of hope leaving your voice was fantastic.
Oh. Oh.
He's strict and very militant, and he lived all of his life in vacuo. I know, doesn't make sense, right? It's a surprise that no one's broken a bottle on his skull yet. Gods, I know I've wanted to once or twice. Any redeeming qualities?
You mean the non-existent gods?
She laughed. Artorias trailed off thinking hard. He's better than his boyfriend? That guy was a real asshole, tried to bully me for a few times. Gestured to his wolf ears. Do I really have to say good about my own partner? I guess he hasn't wanted to see me dead. Does that even count, though? Why?
Oh, good.
Why do we have to have the token gay relationship? Does it add anything to the story? I certainly hope they go
it adds
somewhere
their headcanon to the story.
You know, I really hope they go somewhere with this. Otherwise, I'm going to be mildly more irritated with this story than I already am. My sheer levels of apathy right now are the only thing from saving me from just going into an
anything
aneurysm
from
from this story.
Saving. I think his apathy is starting to break down, so might want to speed this
He's
along.
losing it.
I'm sorry, Morgan said. Don't be, Artorias snorted. That one's all on Father and Smo. Of course it wasn't fucking...
I was waiting for I read ahead. I was waiting for you to get to this part.
And Smo was, well, he wasn't bad at bullying, that's for sure, but he'd done a pretty poor job of it in Artorias cases. He was manageable. She smiled and took another sip from her cup. I suppose you're right. This must be the author's headcanon of a gay relationship
first
between
off,
Smo and Ornstein.
I was gonna say, like, look, why you gotta put something that's not there?
A, why put something that's not there? B, why use these fucking characters and claim they're OC? C, fuck you!
Yeah, like...
You know,
Hey, these are my OC. Please ignore the fact that they look exactly...
He's got a chance to make something good here, though.
No,
if he doesn't make Kieran a Faunus, I'm going to be so annoyed. I don't care what kind of Faunus, just a Faunus. Because she canonically hates humans.
That is true.
Like I said, unique dialogue. She forgives you for being human. Remember?
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun discovery.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's just...
So, if she's not a Faunus... That's about when I'll tell the author to go fuck himself.
Really?
Or herself. I don't care which.
Attention, author. I'd like to bring something to your attention. It's called copyright law. Now, that's not relevant to this being fan fiction. This is relevant to you saying, this is my OC.
Actually,
Please ignore the fact that they look exactly like this thing over here on the left, because my things are over here on the right. No. See...
No, Atin, it's more like, no, I am not copying your character. Your character is right-handed. Mine is left.
Okay. So, the guy's from Australia.
I don't care. I do not care if he is from Venus.
Nuke Australia.
General guidelines, I thought. Sneaky, we've been wanting to do that for a while. Everything on Australia wants to kill you. No one will mourn its loss.
No, actually, hold up. The possums in Australia don't want to kill you.
False.
Are you sure?
They're plotting.
Yes. No. The possums in Australia, they're, like, adorable. Like, they make... Like, our possums here in America are strange, terrifying balls of hatred. I'm pretty sure we got Australia's possums.
Australia, want to trade?
Australia, please, take them back. We won't even take the ones you have. Just take these.
It's a penal colony. You're used to that, right?
General guidelines that Paul Blartorius follows. Write something I'd want to read, which is fair enough. That is pretty important as an author. It's got to be something you yourself want to read. Keep author notes relevant or otherwise succinct. Again, he gets a point for that.
You say fantastic.
He inform. When am I going to update? What thought process go into it? People may or may not care. So I guess he puts that in there. And the last one, and this is the one that honestly has me chuckling. Shamelessly beg for reviews. My self-worth is tied directly to what others think of me.
Oh, really. You about to lose some self-worth today, boy!
Oh, boy!
Stuff I'm writing. The First Immortal. A Ruby not crossover, heavily inspired by Dark Souls.
Heavily inspired? Heavily inspired?
Another one called Fall. A series of experimental Dark Souls one-shots focusing on the moment a character loses themselves. I'll be starting with Solaire, have outlines for Lucatil and Artorias, and vague plans for Gwyn, Gale, and Tarkus. Might do Rame as well, though that might be a little off-theme. Well, I don't care about Rame, but I'm gonna go give the one-shots a once-over after we're done with this particular chapter on the first Immortal.
I would say, meanwhile, let's keep going with this.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
One other thing he's got going for him. Check out his fucking author profile picture. I just dropped that in the recording chat. I don't know where he's getting this stuff, but I desperately want more.
I'm getting a Forbidden,
Dark Souls.
Max.
I'm getting a Forbidden as well.
He's verboten.
Fanfiction. No, it's
no.
not
I mean,
forbidden.
yes. I looked at that. That is quite cool. Anyway,
where can I get this ruby silhouette of Dark Souls characters? Where can I get more?
What?
Anyway, moving along.
Yes.
Oh. Nice.
Anyway, Sneaky.
Yep. Ciarn's a little different. She's quiet. Oh, by the way, I called it. It is Samoa's the fourth.
Oh.
Yeah,
good.
Oh, yeah, no, I figured as much.
Oh, no, it is Go. No, Go is there. Okay.
Any.
Yeah,
way.
okay, so
Oh, okay.
here as well.
God,
Good.
I hope he's eaten by something. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah. Anyway. That was now I'm remembering the scene we wrote, Max, and I'm getting a smile from it.
Ain't got no time for this. Gotta keep
Anyway.
Going. Oh God, we really should have touched that scene up with that rewrite.
I mean, we can. We can rewrite it all again.
I am not rewriting the entirety of that story a second time. Oh God, here's the final part of part 5, guys. You'll never see the original because we rewrote it all.
Again.
Hey guys, hey! I know you've been wondering where we've been. The truth is, we rewrote the story. Again!
Including the parts you didn't even know we already wrote out.
Anyway. Ciarn's a little different. She's quiet, unless she's in class. She's all studious and stuff, so she asks questions all the time. But if she's angry, she gets really loud, actually. I seem to be really good at making her angry. He laughed. Don't get me wrong, though. It means a lot that she cares enough to get upset with me. That doesn't sound too healthy, she mused. I know it's really not my place. She scrambled to apologize, her eyes growing wide. What?
This is a terrible mother. This is like the most disinterested mother ever.
Yeah. No, you more than deserve
I'm not saying
to
a
voice your
hands-off approach is
opinion.
bad, but jeez.
No, you more than deserve to voice your opinion. You're my mother. I wasn't a very good parent. He shrugged. I turned out all right. And seriously, remember father? That was a real mess.
Of course the dad's
projecting.
a horrible person.
I
So
sense
when does little
projection.
sister Stiff come into the picture?
Li-
It might as well just go full bore.
I mean, yeah.
Also,
For a second there, I thought you were
weird.
serious. I was like, fucking, did he really?
Do you want me to check ahead?
Sure.
Go for it.
Let's
just go through all the chapters. Control F Sith.
That's what I'm doing.
Look, like you said, I just got back. I'm in town all semester. You've got plenty of time to mope later if you have to. See, this is my problem. So apparently they live apparently his family lives in Vale, but he went to Vacuo.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd want to go like
the people that go to Vacuo live in Vacuo. There is a place already in Vale that isn't Beacon for you to go to.
No, like transfer students are a thing. They are a thing between the academies.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it. I'm not sure why you would. Like,
yeah.
By the way, the third chapter, which is technically chapter 2, because of how he's got his stuff set up.
Mm-hmm.
he makes a comment in the author's note, as for Sif, no comment. So I'm already worried because he put a winky face emoticon with it.
Oh, you.
He's gonna turn into Sif. It's his semblance.
Oh god. Oh please no. Anyway, moving on. Come on, let's get through this.
And your last teammate? Go. A broad grin spread across his face. He's everyone's best friend. Always the mediator. I suppose it hurts him more than anyone else when the rest of us fight, but it never shows. Like the first day at Shade, Sion and I got in an argument before any of us knew each other. Something petty about whose weapons were cooler. But man, it got heated. Then Go came along and gave us a real stern talking to. I thought he was a teacher, actually. He's tall and mature and all that. Where was I? You guys are like...
That's not enough to cause someone to lose their train of thought. Okay, anyway.
I think this author is operating under false information. Or bad headcanon or something. He's acting... So they're here for the Vital Festival, right?
Vital Festival.
Whatever. Vital. Right. So they're probably third or fourth years, right? In terms of, like, the final stage of their hunter education.
Oh, these guys?
Yeah.
No, yeah, he said they're third years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they're third years for the college portion of hunter training, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, they're going to be in their stretch. I was going to say, they are, depending on, birthdays and when they got in, anywhere between, at minimum, 20 to possibly 22.
Because this is where I'm thinking that he's operating under false information. I think he believes that Shade works like Beacon. Because I was under the assumption that all other training schools that represented each area were like, middle to high school kind of style, while Beacon was like the college style. But all those schools also offered a college course,
I don't know. Look, I mean, Max,
like you start at Shade, Signal, Blank.
I think Sneaky, you might be operating under some false pretenses here. Let me do some research.
Because you got people, you got fucking Yang who went to Signal and now is coming to Beacon for the final 4 years. And she's the first tier of people that enter Beacon, which means Beacon only does those 4 years. They don't do any pre-education in terms of that.
Correct. That is a correct assumption.
So if people do that, and people are coming from Vacuo as well, people are coming from Atlas as well, people are coming from Mistral as well, which leaves me to the assumption that that each of those places' hunter schools also do what Signal does and offer pre-education as well as the final 4-year education.
But Signal doesn't offer the final 4-year education.
Do they not?
No.
Okay.
No.
There are combat
go to Signal
schools
and then you go to
Beacon. Training academies. That's what it appears to be. What's this?
This is why I wanted you here, Max. Because I had assumed that the 4 schools that represented each country worked in a similar fashion of education level.
Students from Shade, students from Sanctum. And where is Haven?
Because if so, my point about this whole thing was, if so, the first year that Artorias would have met his teammates, if he's going to Shade, would have been at like the age of like 14 or something.
No. In fact, as far as we know, they don't even have At least its signal,
What?
and assuming that the other schools operate on a similar basis, you don't even get a team until you get to the college level.
Okay.
Because it's just a prep school. Like, sure, they might take...
Okay,
sure, there might be
that's
some,
what
like,
it is.
field trips where everybody hunts Grim, but for the most part, it's fighting other people, it's learning theory, and probably building a weapon, and like, and here's how to unlock your aura, and here's how to get stronger, and
I would hope they'd be unlocking aura in
I know, I'm just
primary
saying,
combat.
and basic classes like how to dodge 101, what to do if you get stabbed,
how not to stab yourself.
I think that's more.
Come on, I can easily imagine Crow teaching a class what to do if you're bleeding out.
Drink harder.
I mean, yeah.
You can't bleed out if your blood is replaced by alcohol.
That is an acceptable answer, and that actually gets you 10 extra points on any test. Just get drunk. But yeah. No,
Can't get infections if your blood serves as a disinfectant.
There are the primary combat schools where, combat training, weapon training, and presumably aura are unlocked. And then there are the huntsman academies, the ones that you would go to for your final 3 to 4 years of life before officially being recognized as a hunter.
Got it.
They really should just be called hunter academies, not huntsman academies, though. It's weird.
Oh, whatever. It's probably a leftover relic. Or maybe, Monty, you had too much to drink that night. Who cares?
I blame the writers.
I blame Gus.
That works too, I guess.
No. Gus is too much of a perfectionist. You need to blame Jeff.
You're right, it is probably Jeff's fault.
I'm sure Gavin was along for the ride somehow.
Also, do you think Crow was inspired from Jeff if Jeff wasn't incompetent?
Crow is just Jeff mixed with Ichigo. Clearly.
The ultimate insult.
Man, Ichigo would be way more interesting character if he was drunk all the time. Because then he'd have a character! Zing!
Oh, that's just being me.
I don't think you can be mean to soulless automatons, Max.
I think we've gone on enough of a tangent.
Alright, anyway, on with it. Oh, hey, at least this person, this person has picked an original scene in which to introduce their OCs. So, alright. You know what? We'll give you a pass for not doing.
Do they all drop down in Power Ranger formation?
No, I think you're going to immediately be disappointed in him in just a moment.
No. Look, I read it, and look. It's not Initiation Day, and it's not the first scene with Ruby. So, that alone is a point.
You came along, it's certainly a lovely story. You hear that, what do you think's going on? Oh, this is the breach, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh, the docks.
Yeah.
Before you get too hasty, remember, it's not the Initiation Day, and it's not the first scene with Ruby. In fact, I think this is the first time I've seen someone introduced at the docks.
Yeah, you know why? That's because no one else fucking arrived yet. They literally state that Sun Wukong arrived early.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not disagreeing with that, but, like I said, okay. Maybe the guy came back early to visit his mom. Not an unreasonable explanation.
I mean, it is if you're still supposed to be in school. And, not at the festival for another month.
Nah, it's...
Okay, hold up. They're pretty loose about how school works in this universe.
I suppose.
Hey, a couple of kids have been missing for a while. Should we worry? I mean, I haven't heard any explosions, so no. But they've been skipping class for like 6 days. So what? As long as they know to stab the black guy, the black things with white masks.
Of course he knows Sun Wukong.
Well, I mean, if they went to the same school, that would be logical.
Yeah.
Did Sun originally go from Vacuo to Haven?
Well, I'm fairly certain Sun is original native, so it stands to reason.
No, yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing.
Sun himself is a student of Haven, but I don't think we quite know if he was a student for, I think it's Sanctum, which is where Pyrrha came from. That was her primary combat school.
I was gonna say, here's the problem. I'm not sure what the author's trying to say. It was Sun Wukong. He'd not seen the kid since he'd left for Haven. Now, does that mean
that he's referring to Sun leaving for Haven? Yeah.
I know, but the problem is it's ambiguous.
Not really. I mean, I picked up on the meaning.
Actually, wait. Why?
I can see it. I can see what you mean, though, but I mean, I picked up on the meaning.
I did too. I'm just saying it took me a second, and maybe I'm just dumb. I'm not discounting that possibility, but the possibility for confusion exists.
Yeah, I got that.
But I mean, yeah, it's not unreasonable that you might know Sun, especially like. I mean, let's look at now. Granted, Beacon is maybe not the best example, since it is the secondary education, but those are teeny class sizes.
No, but secondary education.
Yeah, like I said, maybe not the best example, but like, yeah, unfortunately we haven't given this information, so we don't know what the failure or the acceptance rate is. But I would assume that it's still going to be fairly high, given that the entire time you're at Signal and the equivalents, the entire point is to get you ready to go to Beacon.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine the culling rate is much, 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 much higher at Signal. Like, the entrance to Signal is much harsher than it is to Beacon.
No, I would imagine the opposite. Easy to get into Signal, hard to get into Beacon.
I mean, I would say, here's the thing. If they get through Signal...
That doesn't mean they'll be able to get into Beacon. Just because you made it through the local high school doesn't mean you're getting into the local county college. Hey, you have a high chance of it. No guarantee.
I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's probably a pretty high rate. Like...
I wouldn't say that.
Whatever. This is us needlessly speculating.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to talk about this terrible story. So, let's talk about this terrible story.
Hey, fun fact.
Well?
Back when we still had Monty around, before he passed away, he added 3 Sun Wukongs to a scene and his computer started lagging. Because most of Sun's polygons are in his hair. He was really dedicated to giving Sun amazing hair, apparently.
Hey, listen. No matter how good you make Sun's hair, I don't think you'll ever quite get to Tomb Raider levels of hair.
Probably not.
Oh god, Tomb Raider levels of hair has spoiled me.
I was gonna say, okay, so listen, we've got this hair.
That
right?
was one of the first things I noticed when I started playing, by the way.
Good hair. But there's a downside. What's the downside? You need a GPU for the hair.
Monty described Sun to his concept artist in one word. Abs.
I mean,
yes.
That did come through.
God, we lost a hell of a person. Back in 2015.
A few bullheads came swooping in, cargo container attached to dust, alternative size glued to the man in the coat. Top cargo container, warehouse roof, grounded bullhead, he ran for it. Avoiding the criminal's view, he ducked down, grabbed the mask of an unconscious white fang mook, and slipped it on.
Why?
Because he's a faunus.
So what?
He's stealthing, can't you tell?
No, this is stupid. Why would you? Why? There is literally no reason for you to grab this mask.
He slipped into the downed escape vehicle, waiting for Roman.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That is what's
I was
happening.
gonna say, despite the fact that the Fang has a uniform.
Oh,
very
don't worry,
clear
that's
uniform.
addressed.
Yeah, they're just dumb.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Bullhead's torn apart by green laser beams. Kids just keep getting weirder, the man in coat muttered, finally reaching the vehicle. So did either of you happen to notice that this one isn't with us? They glance at each other. Blue cloak isn't exactly a regulation uniform. Seriously, nothing. I'm better off with Hazeman. Artorias slammed his fist into the two grunts' faces. Oh, wow. Such Assassin's Creed.
I was gonna say, being able to knock two people out cold, going from standing still to just punching them, wow.
Yeah, guys that probably didn't even have aura. So.
Assassin's Creed. He intercepted the man's cane with the back of his gauntleted hand, drawing his greatsword with his right. Sorry, I kind of missed the memo. All of them, actually.
Okay.
Am I supposed to know who you are?
Okay. You're in a bullhead. There's maybe, from what we've seen, Max, would you say foot and a half of clearance in a bullhead? Personnel
Certainly not enough for a fucking Artorias greatsword.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of sheath he's using. If it was a quick latch, he could probably just pull it out.
No, I'm saying
he's not gonna
we're not talking about that though. We're talking about swinging this fucker around.
Well, that depends. Like, is this Artorias the proper size Artorias, or are we getting like mini Sif's version of Artorias' sword, which is literally just a long sword?
We're assuming by the definition of great sword, it's a great sword.
That it is, yeah, like that's
it's Artorias' proper sword from Dark Souls 1.
Yes.
No, more than likely it's the wolf sword and dagger that you get from the Covenant.
That's
still a fucking big sword.
Yeah, it's still not a lot of room to swing, but it's significantly better than Dark Souls 1.
But not to my knowledge. Wolf, sword, and dagger.
You're going to need, like, proper comparisons by loading up each game. I think.
Wolf's Knight Great Sword moveset. Okay, no, I am... Okay, that's a good picture. Okay, no, the Great Sword is roughly as long as the person.
Yeah, not enough clearance to swing that.
So yes, it is a bit smaller than Artorias' greatsword, but it is certainly not small.
Like I said,
I don't know how you're swinging that then. Like, there's, yeah, and you're right. There's probably like maybe a foot and a half with clearance, maybe between Roman's head and
that is at least, at minimum, a 5.5 foot sword. That the Wolf's Knight greatsword.
Yeah, you're not swinging that very well. You're not getting any overhead swings, but
no, you're not even getting a side to side.
I don't think you can even fucking withdraw that from a like. I assume it would be on your back.
Yeah, it depends on the sheath.
Okay, but Max, here's the thing. Even assuming they could get it out, for comparison's sake, the closest thing size-wise that the nearest analogy I've seen to a bullhead in terms of being a dropship is probably the Lardy from Star Wars. Now, Hopefully, the Star Wars wiki will have better. In terms of having a side opening bay and the amount of troop space that's going to have.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was saying really
to
apparently the Wolf's Knight Greatsword does 20% bonus damage to Wolnir, Aldrich, Dragon Slayer armor, and Midir.
Why?
'Cause it's anti-abyssal.
Clearly, I should have been using that greatsword against Midir.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The more you know.
Whatever. I still won with a refined dark sword with constant lightning blades.
Yes, we did.
Did it the fucking hard way.
Okay, so like I said, so we don't have size measurements on the bullhead. We don't.
Yeah,
it's
no.
Just a thing.
Wait. Oh, can I bullshit this?
I was gonna say, for comparison,
basic engineering eyeballing.
Star Wars, the low altitude assault transport gunship.
Yes, the Lardy, we get it.
17.69 meters, and it's got a height and depth of 6.94 meters. Bear in mind that this is a gunship that transports up to, let's see, how many... Gonna tell me how many people I can carry in it at a time? No. Alright. Well, still. Based on what we see in both the show and the movies, the gunship, in its main troop bay, can have easily 5 or 6 people. But those people are still standing offset from each other so that they're not bumping shoulders.
Okay.
My point being, you're not swinging a greatsword in there. And even if the bullhead is twice that size, you're still not swinging a greatsword in there.
It might be even worse than we
any
thought,
direction.
Because it's possible he's not using the Wolf Knight Greatsword because of the dagger included. It's possible he's using the Farron Greatsword, which is the one with the dagger. Which is even longer than the Wolf's Knight Greatsword. That looks to be about 6.5 feet.
And even if he's using the one from Dark Souls 3, or no, that's the Wolf Knight Greatsword, right?
All right, I have determined that going off Volley 1, the bullheads work similar to a TARDIS. Bigger on the inside.
Really?
I am seeing what looks like some impossible space here.
Oh.
Well, it might be the different angles, but I'm getting an engineer's eyeball of anywhere from like a foot of clearance between Roman's head and the bullhead ceiling to like 6 inches. 6 inches is a big difference in a situation like this.
It is. Okay, but here's the thing.
And now
regardless
Roman's
of whether,
gone from the
here's
scene.
The thing. The clearance actually isn't that important for our criticism. Because 6 inches or a foot, it doesn't matter. That's not enough clearance to pull out a greatsword. And like I said, in terms of the amount of people that the combat-ready bullhead that we saw, the one that was pulling people in and out...
Even if we have impossible spaces going on with a foot above, a greatsword of 5 to 6.5 feet.
Depending on which.
Yeah, depending on which one he's using. It's just not happening.
He's not swinging that thing in any capacity.
Yeah.
Side to side or up and down.
Save this. Project. Alright. Gotta start a new project. Because now I've got to do a frame by frame break. Yay. I'm not insane, I swear.
I was gonna say, hey, you can always
I don't have autism! You have autism! Who says I don't have anything about autism?
You can always go bug Miles and Carrie, ask them for information on the bullheads.
They won't even answer me for fucking information on Dust and Aura. What makes you think they'll answer me for that?
Who knows? Maybe they figure if they give you a little bit, you'll go away.
Clearly, you just need to tweet at them every single day with new accounts.
I seriously doubt he actually checks messages on the site.
No, yeah, I know. I don't think he would. No, I don't think he would at all.
Anyway,
one. Okay. I need details instead of icons. I need episode 1 is 12 minutes and 20 seconds long.
Oh my god, Twitter.
Anyway, let's keep going, Sneaky.
Yep.
Should be new.
God damn it, Chris.
New.
Sneaky, aren't you supposed to be focusing?
I'm sorry, I got distracted while Max was looking shit up. I went to go see what Chris Ray tweeted recently, and holy fucking shit.
I'm not looking stuff up anymore, Sneaky. I'm just straight up breaking frame by frame, and I'll be using measuring tape to figure this shit out.
Max,
on my
you can't
screen.
take an accurate. You can't do that accurately with you. Fine, whatever. Go for it, Sneaky. Let's get this done.
It doesn't have to be accurate. God damn it! I used to be an engineering student. We eyeball shit all the
time.
time.
Roll your
We don't need accuracy.
Blue cloak, regular uniform, memo, fantastic reputation, keep a good image. Thank you. To open the criminal's guard. He swayed to the side, narrowly avoiding Artorias' strike. Which strike? The one that just cleaved through half of the fucking bullhead?
Yeah, that one.
Door, trying to get rid of a guest back here. Called to the cockpit. Artorias used the direction. Man defenses to slash across his chest. My name's Perry with Kyle's sword.
Interlacing is bad.
The criminal fainted left and swung low, hooking Artorias' right ankle with the crook of his cane, tripping him up. The wolf went with the flow, his right shoulder hitting the ground first, momentum rolling to his feet quickly, but his opponent capitalized on the advantage with a swift kick to the chest, sending him tumbling out of the buffhead.
Okay, first of all, why would the doors remain open in flight?
No, I just finished saying that. He called for the pilot to open the doors.
Yeah, no, okay. Yes. You are correct.
Okay, so
however, this raises a larger issue.
Let me go get my cane and play this out a bit.
Why do you have a cane?
That's probably the... Wait, is this the cane I sent you, or a different cane?
No, this is the cane you sent me, but it's useful. I have bad days. Alright, so... pull out. They roll.
Okay.
To
Alright,
the
that
right,
is
and then kick. I suppose you could pull it off.
You say, however, the fact that the side door is now open, now that these side doors open, raises my point earlier that the side doors would have been closed. Maybe if the side doors were
closed, the pilot opened them.
No, but I'm saying maybe if they were open, he'd have clearance to swing a great sword. But before this, the doors are closed. I'm saying from side to side. Like each of your swings would have to.
No, you even with boosted strength, you still have to wind up a great sword.
I know, but I'm saying it's theoretically possible now. But beforehand, the doors were closed, so he's not going to be able to use it at all.
Why a mass shattering impacts? Hey, Art, how you been? I've been better. Yeah, look, dude. Warehouses,
crap.
Others. Cool, man.
Rooster
Time
Teeth.
blown up.
Why?
Ruby.
What the? I'm sorry. I'm just so disappointed in Rooster Teeth right now.
Why?
There are a dozen audio tracks on this. Why are there a dozen? I have to mute every single one of these.
10 out of 10. Weapons not gunchucks saved life. Son, everyone likes your gunchucks. I don't like them. I think they're dumb.
Yeah.
Girl in black hoe.
Oh my gosh.
Laser beams.
You're gonna get real. You're gonna get real annoyed in about 4 lines.
Torture guy kicked out of the ship here. Artorias the Wolf Knight. Dude, not cool. Nobody calls you that. The only emotion I'm currently feeling is sarcasm.
Are you feeling sarcasm?
Yeah, your son having a friends moment.
Excuse me.
Can I be your friend too?
Why
Sure,
did that
sensational.
immediately pixelate?
There was an explosion. I figured it'd be something important. That's how me and Penny got here too. I'm Ruby. That's Blake. Hey, dude, what are you doing in Vale? You here for the tournament? Oh yeah, the rest of the team went straight to Beacon. You know how Gil is. Came down to visit Mom. What weapons you got? Big sword, small dagger, nothing special. Why?
Okay. Alright. Okay.
Schnee. That's interesting. Big fan of the Fang.
Centimeters.
Oh, I mean,
What else
of course he's got a personal experience with the White Fang.
Well, no, hold up.
Doesn't.
I know. I'm saying yes, I know.
Alright.
It's just
Based on what we've seen, that's
just
completely
compounded
acceptable.
with everything else.
Yes.
Son vouched for her back when I was with them. Stopped. You've been how long I've been searching for you? 12 hours. I've decided I don't care. It's pretty much word for word shit here now.
Yeah. Yep.
Rapscallion. I don't even know who you are. I'm
Cross.
Artorias the Wolf Knight. Do people actually call you that? The blonde girl snorted. I worked with Penny. Well, I'm Yang, the beautiful blonde brawler.
I'll admit that one did get a chuckle from me.
Yang, where'd you go? June, team message, please observe Gwyn, G, mantle, and contingency. What? Not long after vacuum students are class, the semester coming to a close. Watch over once class resumed. We'll hear after the team. Alert came team. Nothing. Message. Queen has pawns. Quote. Not crossover.
I was gonna say crossover-ish fic, but not really.
On.
I've not listed it as such, nor made explicit mention of the fact in the summary, because there is no universe hopping. Everything is set in remnants. The characters I'm throwing into the mix are based off of bosses and NPCs, but they are not those characters, and hopefully you won't need to know much about Dark Souls to understand this, although you'll be in a better situation to predict the character's actions if you're familiar.
A lot is open to interpretation. No, actually, it honestly isn't.
It depends on what you're talking about, but yes.
There is I will admit, there is a significant amount of stuff that can be taken a couple of ways. But a majority of Dark Souls actually isn't open to interpretation anymore. Not with all 3 games and all DLCs out.
But I will occasionally write something that goes completely against the established lore. Well, okay then.
Alright, I've done my crazy engineer eyeballing thing.
Sneaky, don't bother criticizing him about the fact that they are just the characters, because he's clearly already got his rock-solid defense set in his mind.
I know. These are basically the characters.
Like, honestly, if he'd just done a crossover, I'd actually be less annoyed.
Oh, it's not them because I gave them a last name / first name, and yeah.
Which he only did for Ornstein and Artorias, by the way.
That we know of.
But, okay, I have determined that probably could swing that thing horizontally if he could get it out, depending on where he's standing.
Like, okay.
Also,
it is completely dependent upon where in the bullhead he is standing.
Sword inside a bullhead. How
even getting that out
is Artorias. 2 foot?
That's even more impressive now.
It's guys, clearly this is all just taking place in the Ruby Chibi universe.
Indeed.
You go ahead. You should ask him. Is it taking place in the Chibi universe? Because if it is, I'll be way more interested to read this.
Seriously, dude. Do you even Spartal recognition?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Do you even Spartal recognition?
Did you say? I assume you're not saying Spartal recognition.
I am.
Text.
Let's see.
Oh my god.
Mention.
Sneaky. If you're going to give the review and you're going to be critical of them, at least
Container.
use proper words.
What? Recognition is a word.
What?
You know exactly what I am talking about, sir. Stop being obtuse.
Spartal recognition is a thing! Spatial awareness!
But what is Spartal?
Wait, where did they get the information that it was a 30-foot shipping container?
It's just spatial recognition.
Yeah, okay, just checking. I had to be sure, because if we're gonna roast this guy, by God, we're going to roast him proper.
Roast him proper. 10 out of 10.
Hmm. Okay, guys, maybe I want to get some weird fucking.
I was gonna say that is one thing I appreciate about the fact that Star Wars has been around so long. If you want to look up the dimensions of something, it is really easy to.
Well, I'm trying to figure out because apparently they decided that the shipping containers were 30 feet long in the docks episode. I'm trying to figure out where they got that info because most containers are either 20 feet, 40 feet, or rather rare, it seems, 45.
Well, I was gonna say they don't do
30.
Odd numbers.
30 is not an odd number.
No, I'm sorry. They don't.
I know what you're going for, though.
Yeah.
Not an odd number.
You know what I meant.
Let me just mute myself.
Okay, so 20 foot long, 7.
Alright, let's get back to this.
Yep.
Okay. Wait. Tracking this down. Okay. Alright. I just had a shipping container. Where'd the frame go? I lost the frame. There's the frame. There's a frame. Closer to these frames. Oh. And I keep losing the frames.
Alright, anyway.
Gather the frames, Max! Gather the frames!
Are we done here, Sneaky, or do you have more trash for us?
Open to. Why are there so many different kinds of containers? Sorry. This is really frustrating. This is bothering me now.
Max, now I know why I said odd number. I meant odd shape, like it would not.
Okay.
Never mind. Just we're done. You knew what I meant. I'm not continuing to justify it. You know me well enough. The audience doesn't, but you do. Good luck with those frames. Sneaky, next piece of trash.
Next trash!
And then we're done.
Versus. Open container.
Oh,
Why am I teaching myself this stuff? What is wrong with me?
Son. And of course,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
his team arrived months early.
Like I was gonna, that's actually a great point you raised.
Of course, he
like
has
not
had
even Sun's
experience
team
with-
arrived that early with
Yeah.
him. It's just Sun.
And of course, he has had experience with White Fang.
I had to get a better look at these shipping containers.
What's next? Cinder was his babysitter. Salem was
so
his
some
wet
of those
nurse.
are 20 foot. Some of those are 20 foot for the sake of argument here.
His dad was a Grim Dragon.
So
His
ignore
dad was
that.
the Grim Dragon.
So
Now that just
it's
sounds
probably
amazing.
a dry container. Okay.
Post review.
So that's 8.8 foot 6. 8 foot for the width.
In space, no one can hear you, meme.
Oh.
All right, come on.
Okay, no, he might actually be able to swing that sword in there horizontally.
Okay, so maybe he can swing it horizontally. If
again,
he can
depending
get
on
it
the
off
sheath.
his back.
Again, completely dependent upon the sheath. Not sure if you've noticed that, but sheaths for greatswords kind of sort of not in demand. It's just a strap.
I am aware.
If even that. Some guys just have magically magnetized backs.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
But here's the thing: even if he has just a magically magnetized back, as
clearly, no, Atin, it's not magic. That's his semblance. Get it right.
It's not his semblance. It's magnets. Get it right.
Anyway, regardless of what kind of power is keeping it attached to him.
You guys really don't like that I just spent like
No,
minutes.
Max, I'm saying regardless of what kind of sheath it is, as many people have done videos on, if there is a sword on your back, getting it off your back, even if you don't have a sheath, is a real pain in the ass. It's not fast.
You even spatial recognition coming from the man with no depth perception.
Fucking
hey,
yeah!
Listen, our spatial recognition is fantastic because we have no depth perception. We've had to get really good at judging those things.
Yeah.
Especially for me. I worked on stage crew. Do you know how terrifying it was to have no depth perception and be backstage under flies and, like, dismantling set pieces to switch them out? You learned to judge those things or you got concussed.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the first immortal.
Now, an interesting idea. It was an interesting idea. If you
now I
hadn't been
really
trapped.
want to know how he's got it sheathed on the back.
Yeah.
Because one thing that you got to account for is also handle length, what kind of sheath is used, what particular style, like what the angle it's sheathed at, even. Kind of odd.
That'd be
like
important.
one of my favorite interpretations of a greatsword user with a sheath is it's a very simple thing. It's part of their armor. It goes on their back, snaps in place. That's from Tower of Jiraga for the animation. I actually really like just like, you know what? That makes sense. It's fine.
Like, weren't
and
they,
if they need
actual medieval times just carried on the shoulder?
Oh yeah, no. You might have a back. You might physically carry it on your back for transportation purposes, but if you were going into combat, that wasn't sheathed. That was just out.
Because it was effort to take it out.
Yeah, because here's the thing. the only way that a normal-sized human being can feasibly carry a greatsword, something,
that
anywhere
is
from
honestly less sword and more just really long piece of metal that looks like a sword.
Right, but so let's go with 5 feet minimum for a greatsword, right?
Yeah.
Even though that's more of a long sword, or a
Um.
bastard sword rather.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
but
6
so
feet.
okay, yeah. Let's say 6 feet. That's going to be dragging on the ground for most people.
Yeah.
If sheathed at the hip like a sword.
Well, you
So
couldn't even sheath on the back. It would be dragging on the ground for most people.
yeah, but excuse me. At least on the back, there's going to be little to no drag. But that's my point. Like, the only feasible way to carry this is on your back.
Yeah.
Now, since the author doesn't mention any kind of special preparation that he makes before pulling this sword out of its sheath before getting to the docks, we have to assume that it's just in a normal sheath, because he doesn't specify a quick draw sheath or a half cut sheath or a cut down sheath, or it's on there with magnets, or it's just a loop that he has to reach back and undo.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's a loop that he has to reach back and undo, the only 2 ways you can draw a weapon from your back are either to pull it over. You either have to bend over to pull it over your head, because even with a normal sword, not even a greatsword, a normal sword, drawing a weapon from your back, you have to bend over.
Yeah.
Because of your arms. Your arms aren't long enough.
Yep. Or you have to angle it sideways and pull it out sideways like that.
I'm going to say, or you angle it and pull it out sideways, which we certainly discussed. He doesn't have the overhead clearance for that in a bullhead.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd have horizontal clearance for that in a bullhead. Maybe. If Max is correct. And if I'm right, he definitely doesn't. If Max is right, maybe he does.
Yeah.
Maybe. So then, the only other feasible method of drawing that weapon would be to undo a catch at the back and let the sword drop, catch it behind him, and then pull forward.
Yeah.
But the movements described, A, don't mention that at all, and B, the fight scene, it happens far too fast for that to be even remotely an option.
And not only that, that's another long wind-up time of grabbing the sword and pulling it 6 feet in front of you, then attacking with it. There's a lot of space cleared doing that. And if you're right, if you are right, there's not that space.
And here's the thing, even if Max is right, maybe he has that space. Maybe. Again, that's a big maybe, because as Max clearly indicated, things may not be kosher with the inside of a bullhead.
I'm not convinced.
Like you said, maybe it probably isn't kosher there. But even if it is, if it's TARDIS-like technology, someone like Roman Torchwick isn't going to give you that time.
Yeah.
I should preface, again, I was doing engineer eyeballing, which means there's a lot of guesswork involved with this.
Yeah, but even if you're off by a foot, we still have to clear 6+ feet. So if you're like, maybe it's a feet or 2 feet, that's still not enough space.
Yeah, well, the guesswork I was going off of was based on one frame that I could find of the bullhead versus a 20-foot, the dimensions of a 20-foot dry container, which is very odd.
I would say, which is
not a
speculative
big fan of this
at best.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how long these containers actually are, but I don't know where they got 30 feet from.
Probably the typical length of a shipping container.
Sneaky, typical length of shipping containers are either 20 feet, 40 feet, or 45. There are no
they
30.
They designed the cranes very specifically.
Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah, you're right. Then
Well,
really
no, Atin, you really
No,
could just do toe straps without needing to do that. Honestly, 30 would probably be a pretty decent.
Okay, yeah, maybe you could fit 30 on there, but if you have a crane designed to easily accommodate 20 or 40, it's gonna make anything different.
Anyway, so I'll be sending you guys the next one. You use toe
straps in that case.
Fine. Let's just move on with the We've made our point. The author doesn't understand space.
Yep.
Gaming assassin.
Yep, it's about as bad as you think it's going to be.
Oh, goody.
You know what?
Seth Corsi, a member of the Assassin Bureau, has heard rumors of Templar going into Sword Art Online to recruit. He has been sent in to stop them. Okay, couple of problems with this.
SOA. What is SOA?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure what SOA is. I assume they meant sorta. Assume they meant SA.
That works.
But let's start with some basic facts. Number 1, there are only 2 opportunities wherein the Templar could be recruiting. During the beta, which would make no sense and be very difficult given that the beta, 2,000 people, guys?
10,000.
10,000.
Oh, 10,000.
No, it was 1,000.
Oh, no, the beta was 1,000.
Yeah, that's what I said, the beta.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, it was like
it's
at least an eighth. At least a tenth or an eighth of it.
Point is, regardless of who is right, that's a pool of 1,000, 2,000 people.
Yep.
All of whom, now they are beta testing a virtual reality MMO. Despite what Sword Art, the anime, would seem to have you believe, the average person who's beta testing brand new cutting edge technology is probably going to be a bunch of fat shut-ins.
Well, I mean, not only that. Not only that. You also have to keep in mind, hey, how the fuck would they find out about this?
How would the Assassin Bureau find out about this?
It could actually be a Templar plot. Don't forget, as the Creed games went on, we found out they've got a lot more influence than we thought.
Everything's a Templar plot!
They just start throwing gaming consoles based off Animus technology at the world to sift through data.
This is true enough fact.
This could be one of their plots.
No. But that's where
that's
the
what
rest
I'm saying,
of my logic.
How would the Assassin's Bureau find out so quickly?
And here's my thing. Like I said, going off of logic. So here's the thing. Even if you cherry pick the beta testers to make sure that you're getting people that are in relatively decent shape, you have to, in order to recruit these people, you have to get people that are willing to, A, buy into the fact that there's a giant order of people that control everything.
And not squeal about it. Because gamers, they would squeal. Gamers make terrible secret agents.
Yeah. Have you seen what happens when people... Have you seen how frequently we ignore things like NDAs, all for a couple of fake internet points?
Fake internet points.
But even if you vet all of those people to ensure they're all trustworthy, or even if you don't tell them about the fact that there's some magical global corporation that controls everything, you're still not going to get a very high acceptance rate because you're asking a bunch of people playtesting a video game
to not talk about it.
To come work for you to do what? Like, hey, kid... Because here's the thing. The only 2 possible recruiting strategies are tell them absolutely nothing and invite them to the shadiest meetup ever devised, at which point every single normal person who's using this will be like, you know, this sounds like everything I'm not supposed to do with basic internet safety. Or you tell them the whole truth, at least half of them are going to laugh and think you're a conspiracy theorist with a tinfoil hat.
That too. And, can't forget the people recording the conversations and whatnot.
I was going to say, then, let's just generously assume that half these people are going to assume that you're off your rocker from the bat. And they're going to say, yeah, whatever, man. I'm just here to play a video game. Of the half that remain, whether that's 1,000 or 500, most of those people aren't going to suit, even if they suit the parameters you've already established, they're not going to be suitable for the needs of the Templar.
Why are you still assuming it's based off the beta?
I'm not.
I'm
Max,
referring to the entire...
Here's the thing. The only two times for recruitment are in the beta or during the game. And
yes, and that is actually completely feasible.
But here's the point. Here's the thing. What is the point of recruiting them in that game?
Not only that, there's only so many copies that are being sold. Gotta keep this in mind. So only so many copies are being sold. Obviously, if the Templars knew about this, the Templars knew about it ahead of time, and obviously they would get a copy. No doubt. Now you're assuming that in the span of the time that 10,000 copies are being sold, which I assume went by like how everything else goes by in the gaming world, within seconds.
Now, okay, but to hold up, it was an event talked about. It was an event that was hyped quite a bit. So maybe someone from the Assassins.
That is true. However, gotta keep in mind though is at what point in time would the Assassins find out about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Like, it's not exactly like something you would go around talking out a lot about, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
again,
but
this
could
is my
be
point.
Deus Ex Machina. I was gonna play the game anyways, and they sent me in because I'm the only one in the entire fucking bureau bought it.
If I'm a super intelligent agency Illuminati conspiracy theory, I'd be like, alright, we got a shit ton of members. And as we've seen in Black Flag, they have no problem starting up a company, releasing this technology, and having people play test it, quote unquote, for inadvertent data mining. You know? Like, the person playtesting Black Flag wasn't there looking for that stuff. They were there testing it, and Templar in the background were just harvesting the information gained.
Yeah.
So how would you reveal that plot? You couldn't, because there's no plot there. So
let's start with this.
So they're smart. That's my point. That's my starting point. Is they're smart. They know how to hide shit so nobody could figure it out. Obviously, the Assassins did figure it out because it's Templar, and that's enough reason for them to get involved.
Yeah, but okay, you know what?
So they're smart. They're not going to be like, okay, we're going to assign random-ass person who has probably no reason to be buying this game to buy this game and play it. No, they're going to be like, okay,
Sneaky.
We know this guy's a gamer. We're going to send him in and recruit.
Sneaky. Let's look at the first paragraph. Seth couldn't believe he was playing video games for the sake of the world. He sighed, looking at the helmet in his hand. He'd heard that the Templars were going to use the game to recruit more followers, and had reported the rumors to his higher-ups. He had never expected to be the one sent in to stop them. Not sure why, all of his combat training reliving the memories of the deadliest assassin to date, Connor Kenway. Great. To be put to use in a virtual world. Fantastic, he sighed, flicking off the lights, placing his helmet on his head, and laying back in his bed. He shut his eye and uttered the command words. Link start. His body went slack as his brain was transported to another world. Had he stayed awake for another minute, he would have heard the assassin banging on his door. Okay, so the assassins have figured out that this is a plot. Here's my other problem with this. If the Templar are just going in randomly, if they've just decided that this pool of 10,000 people, like, assuming the Templar have nothing to do with this, they've just randomly picked these 10,000 people to recruit for no reason. Sure, I mean, I guess it's an easy way to get 10,000 people, but as far as if they know nothing about the plot of Kaiba Akahi of Kaiba, then it's a pointless endeavor because you're not going to be you are one person and you can only talk to so many unless you type in like gen chat. Hey guys, want to join the Templar? It's an out-of-world guild that runs the world. Or
it's IRL
this is a
guild
plot
that runs world.
Yeah, or it's a plot, or the other option is the entire plot with Kaiba is a Templar plot. And sure, now you've got 10,000 people who can't go anywhere that you can try to recruit from. But here's the problem with that. How you going to get them out? Like, fine, they've said, sure, we'll join your crazy made-up thing that doesn't exist in reality. Great, you've recruited people, you've told them all about the Templar, you've sold them on joining you, or you've sold them on getting fabulous wealth and power, and they've joined you, not knowing they're going to join the Templar Order.
Sure.
Great. How the fuck are you going to make use of them?
That's a good point. Good point.
You're still trapped in the game.
Yeah.
Still gotta beat Aincrad.
Well, I mean, they may see that there's a good point though. Is if you do know what Kaiba is gonna do, then well, that's a very poor strategy. If you don't know what Kaiba is gonna do,
it's an even dumber strategy.
Yeah.
Especially because, and here's the thing, realistically speaking, if it isn't a Templar plot, they'll maybe send in 3 or 4 people, see if they can find some people. Maybe you'll get 5 recruits out of this. This is probably just a plot cooked up by some guys in the Templar who want to play games on the company dime. Fine. But if this is a plot that's actively cooked up by the Templar, the whole SAO plot, then it's an even dumber idea, because logically you're going to want to seed... What do you think, Sneaky? At least 100 people in there? So that theoretically one person talks to 1,000 people to see if they're interested or not?
Not even that. Just, one person talks to different people, and you can be like, oh yeah, we have our own guild, yeah?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, at minimum, you have to put a core group in there, and that core group, it certainly can't be smaller than, say, 20, 30. And if you're the ones who've cooked up this plot, then you're knowingly taking 20 to 30 agents who are going to be of some use, because as we've seen with the Templar, if you're not at least mildly useful, they'll just kill you. You're condemning 20 to 30 people in there for however long it takes them to beat Aincrad. And okay, sure, maybe the 20 to 30 people you send in there, you can pull out whenever you want, because you send them in there with special nerve gear.
Yeah.
But what about the people you recruit? You can't include some kind of kill switch in the code, because if you do, then every government in the world who's inevitably going to be looking for something like that, when, oh, hey, 10,000 people are trapped in hell.
Yeah.
The FBI, the CIA, every bureau in the world is going to be all over that. Black hat hackers are going to be all over that, trying to see if they can find it. And there's probably going to be a few who have friends in there that they want to get out. White hat hackers are going to be all over that because they'll think that this is a horrible abuse, and you're probably going to have a couple of people poking around in there just because. So you can't include that kind of code, because if you do, within
someone's going to find
a month, I was going to say, within a month at most, the internet will have found that, distributed it, and now everybody's out, and maybe you've gotten 4 recruits. And most of them are going to be upset as hell anyway, because they'll put 2 and 2 together and say, huh, we got trapped in the death world, and then these guys tried to recruit me for this weird organization. So no matter how you look at this story, it's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
And yes, I just spent I don't know how many hours ranting about this because I didn't want to read this.
Alright, well, skipping around in Chapter 2. A little bit annoyed. He's apparently level 36 on floor 1.
Wow, that's has this person ever played an MMO before? Just an MMO?
Well, reading through at least the spin-off novels for SAO, the progressive stuff, the author appears to have learned a bit more about MMOs and decided to talk about level buffer zones for each floor.
Okay, what's a level buffer zone in this guy's words?
Oh, well, in Reki's words, you want to be, I think, safe zone is to be the same level as the floor. Your best bet, though, your safest margin is 5 to 10 levels, because at that point it starts becoming, super inefficient to keep grinding. And
Right.
if you do that, you screw everyone else out of XP that they need to survive. Because he made Sword Art Online is a world that does not have infinite resources like a normal MMO.
Mm-hmm.
It will eventually run out. They have grinded floors out before. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, motherfucker's level 36. God damn it, I'm sure he's the reason that floor was grinded out before they even got to floor 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's level 36 on floor 1. Like,
It's
one
just
way or
like,
another, he's terrible.
So has anyone seen the monsters? No, they've been gone for weeks now. Well, what the fuck? I don't care who you are. Like, the novels talk about they do need sleep because mental fatigue is still a thing.
I was gonna say,
physical fatigue doesn't exist in
not
SAO.
To mention
mental fatigue is what it is.
Not to mention that even if they couldn't do anything about it right then, you don't think people are going to notice? Gee, I'm level 5 and I'm stuck in this zone because someone killed all the mobs. And you see some dude strutting around level 36 on the first floor. Maybe you're going to remember that guy because he's the guy who screwed everybody.
Yeah, and that, by the way, this is a month in, and it's looking like he's also a solo player.
A month in, level 36, grinding. No, I'm sorry. That's not how it works.
He's also a solo player. I know someone who else is a solo player.
Maybe they'll solo play together.
Yeah. By the way, Kirito, while consistently one of the higher leveled ones in the game, still was only like, I think 4 or 5 levels ahead of the other frontliners. So, there's that to include in there.
Point is, this person is stupid and writes badly. Even if grammatically, just glazing over this, and I did not misspeak, audience. I said glazing because that's what it's doing to my eyes right now. Theoretically, I don't see any theory errors. I don't see many, if any, grammar errors. But so yeah, this person lacks technical understanding and has not thought their plot out.
There is one thing that I will give the author credit for, that is coming up in chapter 2, which is, the guy is known for not using sword skills. SAO system is clearly made for people with no fighting experience. So if you have combat experience, you probably will have a leg up on other players.
No.
You don't have to rely on the system.
Fine, yes, but still.
Theoretically, this guy would be better off fighting Kaiba than Kirito then.
Well, yeah, because Kirito talks about how when he's fighting Kaiba, he's like, he knows all the combinations, so I can't use any of the program skills.
And then he accidentally slipped into one of the skills. Because it was an ingrained instinct. Whoops. Darn you.
This one I love.
Training.
He tried activating Eagle Vision, which somehow worked in game.
And done.
Wait. Where's that in?
Go to chapter 1. Go to chapter 1. After the page break. He'd been killing for a few hours now. Blah 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 blah.
All right, listen. I'll make a deal with you. and this either give him eagle vision. Don't let him apparently grind faster than Kirito, who is a hardcore gaming addict, by the way.
Yeah.
True
you say,
facts.
if you want the
Or
definition,
let him
of
be
a
capable of
shutting meat,
grinding. Let him be capable of grinding faster and longer than Kirito, but don't give him the eagle vision. Take your pick, buddy.
like, here's the thing. Sure, even if he has, actual combat skills, able to, fight stuff, do whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, maybe because he has actual combat skills, he can take on stuff that's, let's be generous here. In most MMOs, you can usually safely take on things that are, if you know what you're doing, 4 or 5 levels above you.
No, not in the slightest. Most
Are you
balanced
kidding me? I do that all the time.
in Destiny, maybe.
Not Destiny. I do that in stuff like WoW and Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Really? Because I'm pretty sure most things that were higher level than you, that weren't just general trash mobs, kicked your ass. Even general trash mobs higher level than you tend to be
I'm a
kicked your ass.
bit worried about this guy having eagle vision. Because if I remember correctly, the in-universe explanation was it was a heightened instinct, I think. And it manifested slightly different in each user, generally upon in the same bloodline.
Man, I don't know. It's been a long time since I played the Assassin's
So,
Creed game.
Something like that, yeah.
So, guards or red, so on and so forth. And he is like, eagle vision isn't marking anyone as an enemy.
No,
I'm like,
it marks one guy as red.
One guy is. Maybe it's. What was the guy's name? Joker? Was that the leader of Laughing Coffin?
I don't know.
No, that wasn't.
Zaza.
Who was it? All right. So, no, that was. Was that the leader or one of the top heads?
I think.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Red?
A tinge of red shining through the crowd. The extra sense failed him, however, just as he started pushing his way through the crowd's toward. He sighed, glancing around at the crowd to see if they'd fallen silent. Sees somebody tinged in red, but
which doesn't make much sense.
I was gonna say, especially given that he's in the town. Like, he's in the town. Literally no threat in the town.
Well, I mean, not only that. Not only that. Eagle vision, unlike its game mechanic counterpart, is described as heightened senses, which means the explanation for why people are marked certain colors is your heightened senses are pointing that they're wearing a certain uniform, they're